Hi, I'm Shadow Witch and welcome to my circle. I was busy today putting together all sorts of potions and notions, and I thought maybe you'd like to put something together with me. Have you heard of Florida water? It is not Florida water as in the state of Florida. Florida water. It stands for flowers. So I'm going to make a quick batch with you. Once you make it, it usually takes about 4 weeks to sit and cure, ferment if you will, before the power is perfectly strong. I like to, you can make it from scratch, but once you do, I like to keep a little bit of an original one, almost like a sourdough starter. So we're putting this into a fresh container, and we will put that in the dishwasher. Alright, so I have a little bit of my starter, and let me see, what am I going to put in first? Well, it calls for 2 cups of alcohol. You can use vodka, but you can also use rubbing alcohol, whatever is good for you. And it also calls for orange hydrosol and rose hydrosol. Well, I make a version of both actually in the alcohol. So I have dried orange peel that I have put in the alcohol, which actually makes the hydrosol, and it is my cup, 1 cup of the alcohol that I need in my recipe. That only sat for about 2 days. The rose hydrosol and the alcohol, I steeped red rose petals in alcohol overnight. Then I strained them, and that is my 2nd cup of alcohol. So there we go. Don't get hung up on it must be a certain ingredient. When it comes to something like Florida water, there are all different sorts of recipes. It used to be a homemade recipe made by the grandmother or the mother or the Santera, and their own personal recipe. So, oh, you're thinking of the Florida water that comes in the plastic bottle that's a light pale green. That's considered like a cologne. Cost about $2 a bottle. Okay, if you want to use that, rock on. I think you get what you pay for. I like making an authentic traditional recipe. Yes, it takes more effort, it costs more money, and when you're finished it looks like this, because true Florida water has the herbs on the bottom, and that green colored cologne doesn't. You're not meant to wear this. You are meant to use this instead of a smudge. If you can't smudge your home or your office or your space because of some restriction to smoke, maybe you're just allergic to smoke and you can't have smoke around you, then let's see here. You can use Florida water by getting some or making it, using about 1 ounce of this, maybe a shot glass full, into a wash basin of water, and you wipe all the surfaces down. Next we're going to put just the right amount of jasmine oil. Perfect. Essential oil of jasmine. Write that down. Yeah. Rosemary oil, essential oil of rosemary. Oh, that's amazing. If you're hung up on drops, I'm using about 12 to 15 drops each. Bergamot oil, same, about 12 to 15 drops each, depending on how much you're making. If you're going to make just one tiny little bottle, it would be a lot less than that. So now I have those going. Okay. I'm going to put in some ground up lavender and rosemary. This is about 1/8 of a cup. That goes in. Here we go. All right. I'm going to put in, let's see here, whole cloves. This is my own personal recipe. I want about 1/4 of a cup. 1/4 of a cup in here. All right. Okay, perfect. Oh, you don't believe me? 1/4 of a cup? I see. There we go, yeah. 1/4 of a cup, right there. See that? Perfect. I was a chef in a past life, and actually in this lifetime, seems like a past life. And you do get used to feeling weight or amounts in your hand for many herbs and spices that you work with in a large kitchen. Now I'm going to grind up Now there are two, after the cloves, there's 2 other ingredients that are very, very, very important. Now I'm grinding up these cloves. When I'm done, I can do one of 2 things. I can strain these out, or just be really careful when I mix up the Florida water after it's sat for about 3 to 4 weeks. Now I'm going to mix it at least once a week to make sure all the herbs are very well mixed into all the juices. It doesn't matter what direction. Are you going diesel? Are you going British? Seriously. I mean, when you put something in a food processor, it goes in one direction just simply because that's the way the engine works, the motor works. You just want to break this up. Have the magical goal in mind of cleansing, clearing, getting rid of stuck, harmful, negative energies. Just see them vacating. They cannot sustain here within this sacred space. And if you have a few whole ones in there, that's okay. Grind them up. Let's throw them into the mix because I'm going to strain this. The herbs that end up on the bottom of the actual jar are fine enough. They will go through the strainer and that will be just fine. Now, next I need a tablespoon. Where's my tablespoon? Of turmeric. That is crucial. And this is a tablespoon. I'm not going to measure it because then my hands are going to be all yellow. This is what gives our mixture that beautiful, beautiful color. And this is what real Florida water looks like. I don't know where the whole green coloring came from. It's pretty, but I don't know. Doesn't seem to really fit with anything that traditionally was our use, but that's all right. You know, everybody does their own recipe. And then a tablespoon of orris root powder. So again, we have 2 cups of alcohol. If you are doing the hydrosol separately with the rose and the orange, you put about 1 ounce of each of those. Or if you don't have the hydrosol, you can add rose and sweet olive or neroli oil. However you get that essence of the rose and the orange in, that is really important. Then we have a tablespoon of turmeric, a tablespoon of orris root. We have bergamot oil, we have jasmine oil, we got rosemary oil, we have crushed lavender and crushed rosemary. Oh, and of course the 1/4 cup of the whole clove. Do I have anything else I have missed? No, that is it. Now I'm going to add, okay, this is about 32 ounces of spring water. There we go. Nice and tight. Now, I'm going to give it a shake. So whatever blessing, spell, incantation you choose to say over this to bring protection, cleansing, banishment of unwanted, negative, harmful, stressful energies from your space. And then after you do that, take the top off again just to give it a little bit of room for the gases or whatnot to release. And then I put the top on very lightly so any kind of energy that decides to build up can be released. I use a plastic top. It's not on very, very hard. I'm going to put it on my shelf over here, and I'm going to keep an eye on it for the next 3 to 4 weeks. I will be taking my old sticker. I'm going to put the date on it so I know when this one was made, and that way I'll know when I can start to bottle it and sell it. This particular bottle I get $16.95 for. So I happen to do this during the planetary hour of Saturn, which is when I started putting this all together. So that's a little bit of how I make my Florida water. And if you prefer to buy it, if you use the one that's already in the green bottle and it works for you, you know what? That's perfectly okay. It doesn't have to be a fancy recipe like this. As long as it works for you, that's all that matters. As long as your magic manifests, then that's perfect. Thank you for visiting my circle. Please subscribe, share. Comments are always welcome. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for visiting my circle. Shadow Witch, and only cool cats and kittens allowed. Have a great one. Bye.